Hot Mic is brought to you by Red Wing Shoes of Fargo. Built to last. 3003 Main Avenue, Fargo.
Hot Mic with Dom Izzo.
Really? Really, Dom?
No.
I like what Dom's doing.
Okay. Dom Izzo.
Jeez, come on, Dom. What do you think I am, a magician?
Yeah, I'm fired up, Dom. What else could I say?
Absolutely. It was great to get on the field, and then Dom came up to me, and I'm trying to walk away from me. I just wanted to enjoy myself out there.
Hot Mic.
Great job.
There's got to be some kind of intelligent question about something.
Coach Dom Izzo, WDAY in Fargo, North Dakota.
Can you give me a layup or something?
Hot Mic. Presented by Northwestern Mutual.
That program is second to none.
On the networks of WDAY.
You know, if it's not about sports, I find it very hard to concentrate.
Here's Dom Izzo.
Good Tuesday morning. Welcome, everybody, to Hot Mic on WDAY Extra, KSFL, KMBN, and Inforum.com. Happy Tuesday, everybody. The 26th day of May is here, and summer with it. Thanks to our guy, Sam Getzinger, for filling in for me yesterday. Great to be with everyone on this final week for school. For those of you celebrating, those of you already done, you can get out there and enjoy it because it's going to be 90 degrees apparently for the next few days. We went from 60 to 90. Love that. At least it beats a couple years ago when we did our usual spring tournament rant where I want to say about 5 years ago, we had 100 degrees for about 3 straight days, all through tournaments. That was a year I think we probably didn't start till May anyway. But we had, I want to say 2021, that I distinctly remember in Jamestown, it was over 100 degrees for tournaments. I don't think we're going to hit that this weekend. Looks like it'll chill a little bit by then, but I'll jinx it now. It doesn't look like much rain, which is fantastic for the 6 state tournaments that are set to hit later this week, whether it be soccer, tennis, softball, baseball, you name it, it's coming up. So we'll get into that coming up in the appropriate time. I know Sam highlighted it yesterday. Just a quick shout out to specifically our crew. They did an amazing job broadcasting the state track meet for the second year in a row. The amount of comments I got, and I wasn't part of it, I was just enjoying watching what happened, were second to none in terms of amount of feedback I got. So top-notch stuff there, especially on Friday. Friday sucked. The weather was awful as it rained pretty much the entire day. I don't believe we lost any cameras. I haven't heard yet, but that the fact that our broadcast didn't suffer at all is a tribute to our engineers who make that happen. So that's another year in the books and some amazing performances. I know Sam highlighted quite a few yesterday on the show. Claire Grindy being another one, 8th grader from Hillsborough Central Valley. I know we had Spencer Ripke. By the way, how old am I now? We had Spencer on when he was an athlete at Ada. Now he's coaching at Hillsborough Central Valley. So there's another reminder. I saw Sam was going to have Spencer on. Like, my gosh. I remember him competing not only at Ada but also at NDSU. So there was a nice reminder of that yesterday. But Claire Grindy wins again. Anya Olson from Velva, just a couple of the standout female athletes we had. Blake Homiston, who does it again in the pole vault. Just some really good stuff. That was fun to highlight that over the last few days. Now we're, as I mentioned, we're on to this weekend. We've got A, softball and baseball in Minot, B, softball and baseball in Jamestown, soccer heading to Mandan, tennis is out, of course, in Grand Forks. So we're spread out all over the place. We've got people leaving or have left already to get to the various locations, and we'll give you all the TV need to know as the week goes on. Extra is going to be your home Saturday for almost all the championships, soccer notwithstanding. Soccer will head to WDAY too, but everything else on Saturday, if you want to watch the Class A baseball final, the Class B softball final, Class B baseball, Class A baseball, everything will be here on Extra. It's a Super Saturday is our own version of it that we'll give you all the info on that as our show rolls on the next few days. We're excited. On Thursday, we'll be live in Jamestown. This year I'm calling the Class B baseball tournament out at Venerable Jack Brown Stadium. Spent many a day there. Can remember distinctly getting soaking wet out there for a state tournament that no backup. I had to shoot in pretty much musty clothes for a majority of the day. That hopefully will not be the case this weekend, but programming will be live in Jamestown coming up on Thursday. Looking forward to that. A lot to get to today. Obviously, we are now day into the week, so I can't do the best of the weekend. I will do that for one thing. One thing that Sam didn't get to yesterday that we got to highlight. We'll do that coming up in just a little bit. Now, tomorrow is a big day for you nerds out there, and I did my best on it, and we'll highlight this later in the show. For you college football TV nerds, tomorrow is the day that we get the first sprinkling of the schedule. Usually, that has not been a day that Bison fans have cared about, other than if there was an FBS game on the schedule, like Colorado a couple years ago, or if there was the Valley games of the week, which we already knew which they were going to take. Brand new ball game this year. We'll tell you about that coming up in just a little bit. But I can say this now, as a native New Yorker, that for the first time since 1999, I distinctly remember where I was the last time the New York Knicks played in an NBA Finals. I was working at the first radio station I ever worked at. I was interning. That night, I did the midnight to 6 a.m. shift. That was great. That's long before automation was a thing. Spinning the hits of Boston, Kansas, Pink Floyd, you name it. When the Knicks played Game 5 and they lost to David Robinson and this guy named Tim Duncan, devastation there because the Knicks had made it. That was the strike-shortened year. And you thought, well, okay, well, it's the Knicks. They'll be back because they were great in the 90s. They ran into Michael Jordan's team every bleeping year. No, it was just another 27 years later. And our guy, Cat, Karl Anthony Towns, is heading to the NBA Finals because the Knicks are a juggernaut. They destroyed Atlanta. They destroyed Philadelphia in their closeout game. And last night, they destroyed Cleveland. I'm not sure the Cavs knew that the East Finals were happening. They got smoked on Saturday night on WDAY. And then last night, resistance, not much there. Landry Shamet became amazing. The amount of Knicks fans who, by the way, couldn't sit courtside because the NBA prevents that from happening on the road, evidently. We're overflowing. Spike Lee is in the second row. He's never in the second row. I mean, it's a 22, now 25-point lead. Cat with a throwdown. This was the largest margin of victory for a team that had nobody score over 20 points in a game. Donovan Mitchell was trying his best, but ain't happening last night. Cat cans a three here. Puts the Knicks up by 19. The Avalanche was on after that. OG Anunoby on the feed from Jalen Brunson. I mean, again, the effort seems lacking from Cleveland. This is back in New York at Madison Square Garden. Don't even get me started what happened outside of MSG last night. Brunson misses another putback from Anunoby on the throwdown. Lead up to 31. OG was just having fun getting out. I mean, basketball's easy when you just go up and dunk it when there's nobody back on defense. The New York Knicks off to the NBA Finals, 130-93. Chalamet and Siller love it. The Knicks sweep out the Cavs and will have a full week off before Game 1 of the NBA Finals a week from tonight on WDAY between either New York or San Antonio and OKC. We got Game 5 of that tonight on NBC. We know that's going to go at least 6 because that series is tied at 2. That seems like it's heading for 7 games, which Game 7 would be on Saturday night in San Antonio. How about the Knicks? And of course, our guy Cat gets to an NBA Finals. Had 19 and 14 last night. It's hard to, honestly, I know he took his shots when he was in Minnesota, but he was my guy. Congratulations to the Knicks. Meanwhile, last night in the NHL, we had Game 3 between Montreal and Carolina. What a scene last night. These two teams split the first 2 games of this series in Raleigh. The Hurricanes take a 2-1 lead on this goal from Taylor Hall, who's still playing in the NHL after days in Edmonton. It's a 2-1 Hurricanes lead. Montreal on the power play in the second. This is some wizardry here for the Look at this passing back and forth between Cole Caulfield and Lane Hudson, two of the very best in the game. Hudson buries it. and we're tied at 2. Controversy reigns in the third period. For those that don't follow the NHL, Montreal scores here to take a 3-2 lead, but they can go back and review. Rod Brindamore, the head coach of the Hurricanes, calls for a review because right here, Caulfield is offsides by a mile. You can't have any part of your skates in front of the blue line unless the entire puck is over the blue line. So we go to overtime. Andrei Svechnikov wins it for Carolina on the wrister. The second straight overtime winner for Carolina as they take a 2-1 lead over Montreal, stealing home ice advantage back. So they're up 2-1. Meanwhile, the other series is a beatdown as well. The Vegas Golden Knights can eliminate Colorado. Remember that Colorado team that seemed unbeatable against the Wild? Well, either Minnesota softened them up, or maybe they're not as good as we thought, or maybe Vegas is a heck of a lot better than we thought. Either way, Vegas can head to the Stanley Cup Final for the third time in its history if they're able to win tonight, 8 o'clock at T-Mobile Arena. Definitely just say that again. Vegas has had a hockey team since 2017. They could go to their third Stanley Cup Final if they win tonight. The Minnesota Wild in their incarnation have been to 0 Stanley Cup Finals since being born in 2000. I know there's other teams that haven't gone. Columbus hasn't been to a Stanley Cup Final. But, I mean, Vegas has a chance to win a second cup the way they're rolling right now. So that's what we saw last night across the playoff landscape. ESPN has got the sweeps curse, by the way. They had the Eastern Conference Finals in basketball, sweep there. They have the West Finals in hockey, and a sweep potentially there. We know at least the other NHL series is going to go at least 5 games between Montreal and Carolina. Last thing before we set up the show. When we left you on Friday, Corey Provis joined us from Boston as the Twins' juggernaut was apparently unleashed last week against Houston. They took 2 or 3 from the Astros. By the way, then the Astros, when they went to Chicago and swept the Cubs. And then they throw a combined no-hitter last night, so apparently Houston is unstoppable. But the Twins swept the Red Sox at Fenway Park, something that hadn't happened in over 30 years. So they continued the road swing yesterday at Comiskey Park. It's always going to be Comiskey Park to me. Facing the White Sox. The red-hot White Sox, by the way. Brooks Lee bashes a home run. We'll get to that in a second because I think they may have figured out their infield now with Royce Lewis in the minor leagues. If you have not seen this guy play yet, you're going to want to watch him because he's one of the best in baseball. Munetaka Murakami is the leading home run hitter in the game. Moonshot yesterday off of Zebby Matthews to tie the game up at 1. That's his 18th home run of the season. White Sox take the lead on a Drew Romo home run to make it 2-1. This is maybe the craziest play of the game. On a hot shot off of Brooks Lee's glove, Orlando Arcia comes up with it and then barehands it. I never get surprised by infielders making plays. It's just so good. Twins offense, not so great yesterday. White Sox bullpen is pretty darn good. Sir Anthony Dominguez, former Philly great, gets the final out. White Sox go in and beat Minnesota 3-1, the final to open up the series. Game 2 coming up tonight. We'll get to see Joe Ryan throw against former NHL goalie, Sean Burke. Used to play for the Devils, if I remember right. That's not him. He pitches for the White Sox tonight from the south side just after 6:30. By the way, now Memorial Day is come and gone. I'm ready to officially declare, Mr. Met can get banned over with our other Jet stuff, that the Mets season is over at 10 games under 500. I thought there was a glimmer of hope about 10 days ago. They were starting to play better. Then they went to Miami this weekend and scored 2 runs in 3 games. Not ideal. Got swept there. And then yesterday lost by $1 billion to the Reds. So, pretty much ready to declare baseball season's over for at least my favorite team. Awesome on May 26th to have that happen. The comparison is, would it be better to have it happen now as opposed to last year when they choked on the final 2 days of the season and missed out on the playoffs? Now, if you were to go back and ask me that last September, like, would you rather have that feeling or this feeling now? I think I would take this one. Like, I'm almost ambivalent on it right now because they've been so bad all year long. Nolan McLean, their best pitcher, got rocked yesterday. So, not that I'm a baseball free agent, because I'll certainly follow the sport for the next 3.5 months, but yeah, not ideal. That and the Twins are not bad. The Twins are 2 games under 500. I would not have had that either on May 26th. We have a lot to get to here. Our guest lineup is brought to us by Northwestern Mutual, as it is each and every day. Our guy Mike McFeely will join us here in studio at 9:35, fresh off a tremendous boating trip yesterday and a tremendous trip to Sunset Lanes. He'll discuss that coming up at 9:35. At 10 o'clock, Kindred's Paul Olson will join us. Summit League runner-up in the decathlete. He's automatically qualified for the NCAAs in the decathlon along with his teammate Zach McGlynn. He joins us from Arkansas as the NCAA track regionals get going tomorrow. He's competing in a couple of events there. If you remember right, Paul joined us, I want to say about 4 years ago when he decided just out of the blue to jump the high jump, set the state record in it, never done it before, and now he's become one of the top athletes in the Summit League. He'll join us at 10 o'clock. And at 10:35, Thompson head baseball coach Nate Soulis will join us as the Tommies are back at state for a 10th year in a row. Thompson is going for a 5-peat in Class B baseball. 5 championships in a row. Some thought it was going to end this year. They came out of the losers bracket, beat Hillsborough Central Valley twice to win the Region 2 championship, and they're back at state. We'll talk with Nate coming up at 10:35 to wrap up today's show. So, a lot to get to here on a busy Tuesday morning. We'll take our first break. We come back. A salute to South Dakota State. The Jackrabbits are heading to the NCAA baseball tournament. How? We'll tell you how that happened when Hot Mike returns on this Tuesday morning. We're back after this.
This is Hot Mike with Dom Izzo, presented by Northwestern Mutual.
Welcome back, everybody. Tuesday morning show off and rolling. Mike McFeely will join us in about 10 minutes time. So yesterday we saluted our best of the weekend and highlighted the great performances on the track, which was rightfully done, and appreciate Sam doing that. There was one performance, though, that needs to get a shout-out that we were delayed on, and we're going to do it this morning. Simply because, and this is going to sound like sour grapes from the Dakotas, but it's actually kind of curb stomping in my mind, because the Summit League Baseball Championships took place in Minneapolis this past week. North Dakota State did not make the field of 4. It was a tough year for Bison baseball. They lost their 8. If you actually watch the NCAA baseball selection show, and I know there were thousands that did yesterday, I was one of them. If you were to go and watch it, of the top 16 seeds, at least I think 10 of them have a former Bison playing on them. That's why NDSU probably wasn't very good this year, including North Carolina. The Tar Heels are one of the favorites to win it. Their starting shortstop is a guy who used to play in Fargo for the last 2 years in Jake Schaffner. That being said, the teams that did make it, Oral Roberts won the league again, shocker. Omaha, Northern Colorado made it for just the second time, and South Dakota State, I would say, snuck in as the 4 seed. They beat out the Bison for that last spot. If the Bison had beaten the Jacks maybe once or twice more, NDSU would have made it. Be that as it may, South Dakota State goes as the 4 seed to the Summit League tournament. The opening night, they play Oral Roberts, and they beat Oral Roberts. That was the first time in the history of the Summit League baseball tournament that Oral Roberts had lost the opening game. They had never been in the losers bracket. Think about that. In the 23 years that they have been in the league for baseball, ORU had never lost the first game. Never. They had never come out of the losers bracket. SDSU did that. Then the Jacks in their second game, beat Northern Colorado. So all they had to do Saturday was win 1 game to go to the NCAA tournament, to get the automatic bid. Of course, what happens, Oral Roberts gets its you-know-what together. They win Thursday in the elimination game. They win Friday in another elimination game to get to Saturday. And, of course, just like last year, you remember, or you beat NDSU the first time around to force the winner-take-all game. But then a funny thing happened. When you do that, you play that extra game, you run out of pitching to set up the finale on Saturday. Or you actually got the first 2 runs of the game on home runs, and then the Jackrabbits woke up in a big-time way. Got a home run here to tie the game at 3. They're playing at Siebert Field, by the way. I had people ask me, like, why are they playing in Minneapolis? Well, St. Thomas won the league last year, but St. Thomas can't host it, so they put it at Siebert Field in Minneapolis where the Gophers play. That being said, SDSU rallied twice, 2 separate times in this game. That hit by Nick Work gave SDSU a 7-5 lead. Or you had a home run, made it 7-6. They get another 2 runs back on this hit. And by the way, this is a shameless reason to show it because they're wearing the best jerseys in the Summit League. Those powder blue ones are fantastic. I said that numerous times. We broadcast it, made it 8-6. They added another run in the bottom of the 6th. That made it 9-6. South Dakota State. Mind you, the Jackrabbits have 2 locals playing on SDSU. Caleb Deere from West Fargo Cheyenne, Trey Hussar, who's going to join us either tomorrow or Thursday from Northern Cass. This was the final out in the top half of the 9th inning. This sliding catch was just fantastic in right field. And that sends SDSU to the NCAA tournament for the first time since 2013. The Jackrabbits found out yesterday they're going to actually play Nebraska, so they don't have that long of a trip. They're going to Lincoln on Friday afternoon to open up the NCAA tournament. But congratulations. Rob Bishop's one of the all-time great guys. He's the manager, head coach of the Jack baseball team. Wanted to give them their proper due because a 4 seed winning this. And they beat Oral Roberts. I mean, we have had, how many years have we done this? We broadcasted that tournament to 2023 where ORU was one of the best teams ever, made it all the way to the College World Series. It tells you how good they were that year. But since then, they have proved mortal. Yeah, they may have won the regular season title, and they did again this year. They'll host next year's tournament. But the Bison won it last year, beating Oral Roberts. The Jackrabbits did it this year. Dare I say we have parity in baseball? I don't know if I'm really going to go that far, but just nice to see somebody else win in the Summit League Baseball Championship. By the way, SDSU 24-31, 7 games under 500, and much like the Bison were last year. And they actually played Nebraska early this year, back on March the 4th in Lincoln. It was a 5-4 Husker win. So we'll see what happens coming up on Friday. If you're not a college baseball fan, I would totally encourage you, or if you are a baseball fan, to find the regionals this weekend. It is top-notch stuff. Even if you don't have any local rooting interest in it, it's pretty darn good to watch. And that begins on Friday. That's on top of the Women's College World Series, which starts Thursday in Oklahoma City. The softball championship is always fun to watch. We'll be keeping our eyes on that. How about the Huskers going in both softball and baseball? At least they're good in those sports. Football, maybe not so much, but they're great in softball and baseball right about now. Speaking of football, I mentioned this off the top. So tomorrow we'll be on, the bat signal will be out because we will officially get the first 3 weeks of the football schedule put out. Now, excuse me, I put out an article yesterday to try and predict where the Bison football games are going to be on television. Anyway, it's an educated guess. I have some insider knowledge on this, not a ton. You can read that at inforum.com. But this is what you need to know, because I know I had some tweets about it yesterday that still were kind of hazy on how the selection process goes. So I try to put it in some bullet points here for people to understand what they're looking for tomorrow. So obviously the Mountain West has 3 main TV partners: CBS, Fox, and the CW. CBS has the first pick of the draft. That means each week CBS gets to select the best game. Let's just call it like it is. So what if it's UNLV, New Mexico, if it's Air Force and Hawaii, CBS gets first dibs. Then it goes to Fox. Then the CW goes last because they're the newest partners. If none of the three pick it, then it goes to the Mountain West app. And if there's a local broadcast entity, they will broadcast the game. Which, like for us, for WDAY, if there is an opportunity, we would do a game if the Bison aren't picked by one of those three. So that's what you need to know there. Tomorrow, the first 3 weeks of the schedule will be announced. I believe the Mountain West is also going to announce its national package tomorrow. That means all the games are going to get picked up by those three. We'll find out those tomorrow, which is a total of, if I do my math right, about 40 games tomorrow. There are some games as part of the national package that could be announced they're moving to Friday. So tomorrow we could find out that maybe the Bison game with Nevada or the Bison game with New Mexico is moving to a Friday night. Also, when you're going to see after week 3, there's going to be some games that still don't have a kickoff time or network next to it. That's another new feature of this for Bison football fans to get used to. Because going forward, the networks will select games 12 days out for what channel it's going to be on and what time the game is going to happen. And that is purely indicative of how your team is doing. If NDSU is having a pretty good year, then expect CBS and Fox to get more of those games. And probably the CW not so much. If they're middling, if it's a struggle, then maybe the CW gets an opportunity to do more of their games. But that is purely performance-based. Much like the NFL has the ability to flex teams to different days, not so much in college, but different networks, more high-profile networks, more high-profile kickoff times. Yes, that can happen in college ball. So that's basically the 101, call it that, the broadcasting 101. We'll get to 201 and 301 over the next couple of weeks and months to explain how it works on how they select games. I'm hopeful we're going to have John Sullivan for the Mountain West Conference join us either Thursday or Friday once they put their television package out to explain how it went in the selection. Because I would love to televise the draft. Every other draft is televised, yet the college football TV one is not. That people would watch that. I'm telling you, weirdos like me would watch it. I would love to know how CBS wants this game. Oh, and Fox is going to take, Kansas and Texas Tech. Oh, okay. Didn't think they would pick that one. Or ESPN wants Clemson, Notre Dame. Well, but ABC wants it. How does that, you know what I mean? Like, to me, that's kind of fun. I'm sure others are probably rolling their eyes. Just tell me when the game is. I don't care. And I hear you. I respect that. And hopefully we have some answers on that coming up tomorrow. Let's break. We come back. Mike McFeely will join us. I'm sure Michael's got some thoughts on television selections. Never shies away from that. We'll do that on the other side of the break with Hot Mike rolls on a Tuesday morning. We're back after this.
Oh, it's Mr. McFeely.
I have seen the future, and he was wearing number 5, and I ain't talking about Robbie Grimsley, folks.
Took out the muffins, took out the trail mix, took out the cookies. They stole the monster cookies.
Wow, that's awesome. That is so awesome. Let's do some broadcasting.
Mike's appearance on Hot Mike is brought to you by Sunset Lanes of Moorhead.
I haven't been here for the intro yet. That's fantastic.
I like the sound effects.
Right? Our guy Matt Hopper killing it.
Yeah.
Hi, Mike. How are you?
It would be more accurate if he could make the sound of one pin being hit by a bowling ball. Just blink. That's my bowling skill.
So I called up our guys over at Sunset Lanes a few weeks ago. My father-in-law said, hey, Mike talks about Sunset all the time. Maybe you should get him sponsored. I'm like, oh, what a good idea. Called Darren up. Said, absolutely, let's do it. So, bam, there we go. And then you're changing lives after your appearance on our show last week.
I was out yesterday evening, had to make a quick run to a store, and ran into somebody, and they said, "Hey, McFeely." I said, "Yeah, how you doing?" "Good, good. Hey, I bought a membership at Sunset Lanes because of your appearance on Dom's show last Tuesday." I gave him the knucks and said, "There you go." Just changing lives, making differences. That's what I tweeted out. It's like just results is what I do.
With your guy Pete Weber.
Yeah, well, yeah, I don't do the amount of drugs and booze that he did when he was bowling, but yeah, I'm not sure I would be standing if I did that amount of drugs.
Did you take advantage of it last night, or did you golf last night because it was 90 degrees?
No, I didn't either. I went fishing yesterday, and I was just so exhausted and sunburned and just wiped out that I got home and just basically was in a coma for 5 hours after I got done fishing. My goodness gracious.
Well, we're glad you're alive and well to be here on the show this morning. I'm sure you heard before you came in, the eyes roll into the back of your head. Just tell me when the game is going to be, what channel and what network it's going to be on, right?
I was thinking about this, and I was thinking about things I would rather do than watch a bunch of TV nerds sit in a room and go, I'd like to have Air Force in Wyoming in our station. Yeah. I mean, where do I sign up for that? So I figured my top two would be I would rather listen to you monologue for a half hour about college football uniform combinations and helmet combinations, or the other option, which I would enjoy more, would be to have somebody drive a Phillips-headed screwdriver through my temple. So if either of those things would be more enjoyable for me than to watch a bunch of TV nerds talk about which games they want on their network. I mean, really? You're going to televise that?
I think there would be people interested in it. I really do.
If it was old school TV, like where the guys are like smoking cigarettes and they got big thick glasses on, the greased back hair, it's like,
in a dark room.
Yes,
and the smoke is
okay. That would be interesting. But I know enough TV people now that those people do not exist anymore. In TV.
No.
Yes, there's way more. Not you. There's way more plastic surgery and Botox than there are cigarettes in television.
Neither
right
one found their way to me.
No.
I would think for this first year, I think tomorrow will be really interesting for Bison fans to wrap their brains around what this is going to be.
I know. Are not interesting. I'm waiting.
Just the process of it is mind-numbingly.
I was gobbling up your column yesterday.
What did you think?
No, yeah, it's interesting.
You think
who knows how it's going to?
How many would be accurate?
You're the TV guy.
I'm going to go with three or four.
Yeah, I don't know,
out of that.
But it's. Things continue for me, as I tweeted out this morning, because ESPN's Bill Connolly.
Yeah, I was just reading
he's kind of the analytics guru guy.
We've had him on.
Has his Mountain West predictions out, and as I tweeted out, and this applies to the television stuff as well as where I'm going, is it's all very interesting because it's all new. I'm sure people in Albuquerque don't give a rip right now that the TV draft is going on because it's but
they're done that.
But for somebody who's covered this program, North Dakota State football, for 30 years, and covered them in FCS, it's just a whole different level of things that are happening. And again, I'll go back. If any granite-headed moron tries to say, it's pretty much the same. The level's the same. The Mountain West stinks. Valley's better. Shut up. No. Just shut up. Just go, whatever, watch MMA fighting or something. You're an idiot. So it's just a whole different level of the way things work.
Totally.
And the attention.
Yes.
And the betting odds and all of those things.
I already saw their odds on the first game.
Yes.
The Bison are a 10-point favorite.
Yeah, geez.
10 against Jacksonville State.
This whole thing is just bulletin board material. That's all this is. Tim Paulsek is banging his head against a wall at the Dome going, no, just make us underdogs.
My dad's already taken the action on the Bison.
It's going to be
because he can do it.
He thinks it's going to be more. Oh, God.
I'm just crazy but to your point,
but yes,
that's never happened before. You haven't had odds on a Bison game in May.
For what it's worth, and I'm not a gambler. I'm not a degenerate like your father. No offense.
He's been called worse. I know that. So
No offense. But, I mean, the FCS odds don't generally come out until, like, the day of the game. Or the day before.
How often have we looked for that?
Not a big deal. It's not going to change lives like I do. But it's in May, and there's at least somebody already has.
Correct.
And I see that BetMGM is putting out odds for who's going to win G6 conference championships. The Mountain West is not out yet, but Western Kentucky, I think, has been picked to win the
Conference USA.
Conference USA, or the Liberty's been picked. Whatever.
Yeah. Or Sun Belt. Conference USA is the win Sun Belt. Yeah.
So they've
really.
So there's already
Interesting.
those are out. It's all. Yeah. It's what you and I have said for years, which is it never ends anymore, and it's
even more ramped up now in this division.
And oh, by the way, apparently there was a settlement in the Mountain West that it's like, I think Mountain West people are going, hey.
Yeah,
that's not good.
We were trading texts over the weekend on that, on what that means for Air Force and UNLV, because there's this constant chatter on the west coast of the country that UNLV is going to leave. I think we talked about this a couple years ago.
It comes mostly from John Canzano and John Wilner. The first John is a independent journalist from Oregon. Used to be a columnist for the Oregonian in Portland. John Wilner is with the San Jose Mercury News. Just does a fantastic column. I'm not going to encourage people to buy subscriptions to other newspapers other than mine, but
they're plugged in.
It's like 99 cents for a year at the San Jose Mercury News, so I bought one. But Wilner he writes, it's called the Wilner Hotline, and it's all about mostly the Pac-12, but he does a lot of Mountain West stuff as well. It's really good. Yep. And I've referenced him in my columns before. I give credit. Obviously, I'm not plugged into the Mountain West stuff. But John Wilner and John Canzano, they've been a lot into they're going to leave.
Right.
Many other people say, nah, they're not going anywhere. And even Wilner, in his last Wilner Hotline column, which I quoted in my column over the weekend, he said, I don't think UNLV is going to leave. And Canzano kind of goes, I like John. I've talked to him. I've been on his radio show, been on his podcast. But he's kind of gone back and forth like, they're going to leave. No, they're not going to leave. They're going to leave. And so the bottom line is in college sports, college football, especially in 2026.
Oh. You're right. Exactly right.
If I carried change in my pocket, I'd flip a coin.
Yep.
Because who knows?
Monetarily, it's not that much more money for them to go to the Pac-12. They're not looking at another G6.
And what we're talking about is the Mountain West sued the Pac-12 for stealing 5 teams, and then the 5 teams were supposed to pay $20 million apiece as an exit fee, and then they sued the Pac-12 for poaching. Yeah. It was supposed to be $155 million. Turned out to be that they settled for the number that I'm hearing is $70 million or less, which is obviously less than half of 155. So there's hair on fire all over the place. You're going to go broke. Just everybody settle down. But what the deal is that that would open the door maybe for UNLV and Air Force to want to leave because they're not getting the money that they were promised to stay in the Mountain West. That's the short story. If it's possible to tell that story in a short amount of time.
Well, and the last part of it was Air Force and UNLV were promised more money because they didn't want to lose those two teams.
Yes, so yes. The Pac-12 went after UNLV originally when all the teams were all shifting around 2 years ago. Yep. UNLV was convinced to stay. The rumor is, I don't know if it's ever been confirmed, is that the American Conference was hard after Air Force because that would give them all 3 service academies, which are great TV ratings, great popular things, but both stayed. So now the question is, are they still going to stay in the Mountain West? And if they leave the Mountain West, then you look at what NDSU did and go,
totally.
So
because that was, to me, on the and granted, the league offices are moving. They're moving as we speak.
To Vegas, yes.
They're going to Las Vegas. They're put their new footprint is going to be right
going
there.
To media days in Las Vegas in a month or 3 weeks.
So they're circling UNLV is going to be our shining star of the league going forward. That'd be something else. But again, like you said in college athletics, flip a coin on it, right? Let's break. We come back. Much more with Mike as we roll on in our first hour. Paul Olson from Kindred, NDSU Decathlete, joining us in our second hour as Hot Mike rolls on. We're back after this. Welcome back, everybody. Email comes in. Dom, the scenario you and Mike described as the sports writers on TV out of Chicago back in the late 80s, crotchety old newspapermen smoking cigars, and SI's Rick Tellender discussing sports, I watch religiously.
Right. That's what I'm saying. If it
was that.
If you're just talking like what network it's going to be. Should we put this on the CW or CBS Sports now? No, Bob.
You mean Hawaii, Northern Illinois wouldn't get you to watch? Well, you will watch. I know you're going to watch
the game. I'm not going to watch some TV executive pick the game. That's my point.
Yes.
God, we could. Okay, I've got my new TV idea. I'm going retro.
Yeah.
I'm doing the cigar smoking, bourbon drinking.
You got to wear a hat.
Crusty old sports writer.
So out of the Bill Connolly article,
what Royce's doing. I'll see if Pat's interested in that.
Pat would do that. God, he would do it in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat, he would do that.
Yep.
On ESPN.com that you mentioned in our first segment. So we had Bill on in December, I want to say, when he was talking on the SP Plus rankings and how it comes about. He's got Michael NDSU at 6 or more wins, a 98.1% chance of reaching that, which I think all of us are in that in that mindset. Which obviously would be a bowl game once we find out next month on that. Beyond that, he said 11 plus wins. He has NDSU at 6.4%.
Yeah, I don't think
that might be a bridge too far.
Despite your buddy Brett McMurphy saying that NDSU is going to go
win the league,
going to go 13-0 in a 12-game season. I don't think that's going to happen.
Oh man. Well, again, we've talked about it since the schedule came out with who the Bison are playing on the road. Most specifically, UNLV, Air Force, Hawaii, New Mexico.
But this is why, and we'll see how long this lasts. For me, it's going to last until they plant me. But it's instead of going into a season knowing that there's 9 victories on the schedule.
Absolutely.
9 games, like in an 11-game FCS season in the old days, you knew the Bison were going to win 9 games. There was no question they were going to make the playoffs. There was no question they were going to be first or second in the Valley.
They'd have a week off.
There was no question for 15 years they were going to get to the quarterfinals of the playoffs. And the season would come down to roughly 2 regular season games, usually South Dakota State.
And if they were playing in Grand Forks.
And lately in Grand Forks. But then, Illinois State was always serviceable, even though they hadn't beat them for 15 years until last December. There's always one other game mixed in there. That's not the case anymore. And it's fun.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
I'm sure Tim Paulsek isn't going to have much fun this fall if they go 7-5. But it's at least it's interesting.
Totally.
That you're going to go you're going to go into the first game this year and go, are they going to win? I don't know.
Don't know. Right?
Who knows?
Yeah. I've had people ask, what do you think you're going to... I have no idea.
I have no idea.
People have asked me that the last couple of months. I have no idea.
They're going to beat Fordham by whatever they want. That's whatever. That's, again, they're going to go to Air Force. Sacramento State. I don't know.
Yep.
Sac State is not incompetent.
No.
And I don't think this is like some sort of, juggernaut NDSU team. And so who knows?
Well, just contrast it with what we knew the schedule was going to be. Right? They were going to play Austin Peay this year. They were going to play East Tennessee State this year. They're going to play Central Arkansas and Incarnate Word.
Yeah.
They weren't going to lose any of those games.
No.
Right?
No.
They were going to go to Grand Forks.
In fact, they were going to be favored by 24 points or more
in all those
every
games.
One of those games.
Right.
Every one.
Like they would have the Jackrabbits coming here and they would have gone to Grand Forks. Illinois State was coming here. Those were probably the 3 games. All right.
And again, other than the fact that Illinois State beat them last year, that game everybody would have shrugged and went, whatever.
Yeah, correct. Correct. So then it would have been down to those 2, the Jack game and the game in Grand Forks. That would have been it.
Yep.
That would have been it for the 2026 schedule.
Okay.
By the way, in Incarnate Word, I don't know if you saw this, they replaced the Bison matchup with a Division II team because they wanted no part. They wanted out of that game before it was going to happen.
I had heard that they wanted out of the NDSU game anyway.
So they replaced. They're playing a D2 team now to start the season. Yep. So be that as it may, that's again goes to your point of we just don't know about this upcoming year. And that's the exciting part.
It's sort of fun
it.
for now.
He writes on the 5 best games of the Mountain West. October 10th, NDSU at UNLV. NDSU faces a mid-September trip to Air Force, but this should be the big measuring stick game for the Bison. Does their physical style translate to immediate contention? Of course, UNLV has Dan Mullen as their head coach. Jackson Arnold is the big quarterback transfer from Auburn, who's on his third separate school, is now the quarterback at UNLV. UNLV's got a stud running back. They are going to be really good this year.
It'll be fun.
At Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas.
It's okay if NDSU isn't favored to win every game by 27 points. Well, it's okay.
Well, I know
it's going to be okay if UNLV's favored by 6.
Right.
That's okay.
Well, you would text me on Wednesdays or Thursdays. You find the Bison are favored to beat Southern by 17. Yeah. And we thought Southern was pretty good. You know what I mean? Like that's just not the thing
anymore. The South Dakota game.
Yes.
Last year, it's like South Dakota, the juggernaut. NDSU was favored by 25,
and they won by 49.
Yeah, it's like. Good Lord.
Right. Yep. I know it. The other, just looking at the other win percentage here, UNLV, 98% for 6+ wins. Same with New Mexico, Air Force. The only ones he has struggling are Nevada. That might cost Choate his job if Nevada's not good. Very good, right?
Right, if they're not very good.
San Jose State, Northern Illinois, and UTEP, which I think we all agree those bottom two with Northern Illinois and UTEP might be tough this first year. Yep. Obviously, NIU's got an interim coach since their coach left to go to the NFL.
And UTEP just hasn't been very good historically. So we'll see.
Yeah, the Bison have those teams at home as well.
I am looking forward to this.
Yeah.
I'm looking, as everybody knows. And like we said, the media days in Las Vegas are scheduled for mid-July.
Yeah.
So for the next 6 weeks or whatever, I mean, it's just going to be nonstop stuff happening. There's going to be this TV
stuff
draft
tomorrow.
Are you going to take the day off, by the way?
I might do an extra show.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? We might do more.
Let's do an emergency podcast.
I might have
the McFeely Mess emergency podcast. Oh, my God. They've got NDSU on the CW at 7:30. Oh, baby.
I'm telling you, there's going to be an 11 a.m. kickoff, and there's going to be a Friday night kickoff, and people might lose their you-know-whats about.
Friday night at home would be super fun.
I agree, and I think that probably will happen.
Hawaii at 11 p.m. If you are correct on that.
That is not going to be great.
I'm not. If we travel to the Hawaii game, I don't know that that's a sure thing yet. Although I think we'll be at most road games, but the Hawaii thing's just a different deal. I will not be awake if I'm in Honolulu covering a football game that kicks off at 11 p.m.
Central
on my
time.
old man body clock.
Yep.
No. I got a book. I'm curled up with a book in a recliner.
You're lying to me. You're watching late night college football when we're not there. Hey, look who's playing. You text me that all the time.
You didn't save those texts, did you?
Montana State's playing Idaho
San Diego State looks pretty good. They're playing San Jose State.
If you're physically there, you're going to be jacked for that. 11 o'clock.
Maybe.
It'll probably in that range. It's either going to be 10 or 11 o'clock kickoff for that game in Hawaii. You can bank on it right now. I'm just telling you right now. Correctamundo.
It's a 4-hour difference?
5.
5 hour
difference. 5 hour difference.
Good Lord.
Yipper. So that's 6 o'clock Hawaiian time if it's at 11 p.m. Central.
And the 11 a.m. game is going to be a home game, you think? Like a Central? Like
Correct.
Northern Illinois or something?
Because you and I talked about this, and we talked about when the Mountain was here. We got to go. Why would they add Northern Illinois and NDSU and not use the Central time zone to its benefit?
I mean, that's not why they did. In part, maybe it is.
I think it's part, maybe they did.
But I think in NDSU's case, it's part of why they did.
Correct.
So they have two, but it's not the original reason why.
But you have an opportunity
they added
to do
Northern
that.
Illinois because they were freaking desperate.
Yes.
Because they needed two teams.
They needed teams to come in. Great stuff, bud. Thanks for coming by.
You betcha.
Mike's appearances each and every Tuesday. I love saying this. Brought to us by Sunset Lanes out of Moorhead. They sponsor a segment each Tuesday.
Who do you think you are?
I am. When we come back, hour 2 will start. Kindred's Paul Olson on his runner-up finish in the decathlon of the Summit League and heading to the NCAAs in Eugene. It's coming up when we come back.
This is Hot Mike.
Hot Mike.
On the networks of WDAY. Here's Dom Izzo.
Welcome back, everybody. Hour 2 of Hot Mike, ready to rock and roll. About a half hour from now, Thompson, head baseball coach Nate Soulis will join us, get us ready for the State B baseball tournament, which gets going on Thursday out in Jamestown. We were highlighting yesterday the top performances from this past year's North Dakota State track and field meet, which wrapped up on Saturday out in Bismarck. Week prior to that was the Summit League track championship that took place in Fargo. Our next guest actually has shined in both of those events, and now he's got a chance to go to the NCAA track championships in Tracktown, USA in a few weeks in Eugene, Oregon. Kindred's Paul Olson joins us on the show live direct from Arkansas, where the NCAA West Regionals get underway tomorrow. It's great to see you. I think immediately of when you came on the show 4 years ago after you were deciding, I'm going to give track a try. And now you're going to the NCAAs in the decathlon, man. Congratulations. Tell me about this performance and what this means to you personally of getting a chance to go there.
Well, first of all, I just appreciate you having me on. It's been a crazy ride, but thanks to our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, He gives me reason to do everything. Him dying on the cross allows me to compete freely and do everything in His glory. But it's just been a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to see Zach do it, obviously, and then it's like kind of that big brother thing where you see him do it and you're like, I want to do that. I don't want to be sitting at home all the time. So having him push me has just been a lot of fun, and it's been really helpful in my career as well.
Take us back, for people that don't know this, the basketball, I think everybody thought was your jam. Literally, that's what you were going to go do. Give us the backstory of just literally going out for the high jump and then take it from there.
Yeah, well, the plan, I tried it that fall with Coach Gramish. He just had me out in the Kindred parking lot one day trying to high jump, and I enjoyed it a little bit. I enjoyed it enough to give it a try in the spring. And I was like, okay, I'm not going to do any running. I'm just going to jump. We'll just see how it goes. And then before the first meet, I was like, okay, you can put me in the 60. It's not that long. It's not hard. It's not hard to run. So tried that. And then after that, the high jump went well and everything else just kind of took off. Started doing all the other sprints and a little bit of long jump, but I wasn't that good at that in high school. So just kind of took off from there, yeah.
Went well. I believe you set a state record in it, correct?
I'm not sure if it was a record or not, but it was good enough.
It was good enough is right. Did you immediately hey, I like this? You had success with it, or did it take a bit to say, I think this is something I want to pursue more?
I enjoyed it right away. I was still on the fence of doing it in college, but when I came on my visit to NDSU, I kind of got done with that day, and I was like, yeah, like the guys that I hung around with for that day and the coaches, I was like, this is where I want to be. It's nice and close to home. It's easy to get there.
So being a multi-athlete, I interviewed Zach last week. We're going to play that later this week or next week before the track championships get going. What does that require, Paul? You can't, especially a decathlete, you have to be good in a ton of events. Like, how do you do that?
The practices are a little bit I don't know, a little bit different from the normal. We're doing different events, probably like high jump probably once every week or two. The events that I'm stronger in, I'm not going to practice as much. We do a lot of sprint-based training. Just if you're more explosive, you're going to be able to be successful in a lot of events. But the biggest thing I think for the multi-athlete is just being able to stay healthy. And fortunately this year I've been taking my diet and my sleep and all recovery more seriously. So I've been able to avoid, aside from an ankle injury that's been going on for a while, I've been able to avoid any other sort of major injuries that have kept me off the track. I think that's kind of been the biggest key in the success for this year, I guess.
All right, so give me your mindset heading into this spring, knowing full well NDSU is hosting the Summit League Championships, and just your mindset of attacking this. Like, I want to have my best performance when we get to the Summit League meet.
Yeah, so obviously being at home is a lot of fun. We've had two conference meets at home since I've been here. My freshman year, I pulled my hamstring and I wasn't able to compete in the outdoor one. The next year we had it indoor and I was redshirting that year, so I wasn't able to compete for that one either. So I was just excited to be able to compete on that team. And originally I wasn't planning on doing the decathlon. I was planning to do a couple other open events. Zach was going to get us chance to qualify, and we didn't really need another guy in the decathlon. And I got a text right before, just from Shep, asking, if we put you in the decathlon, can you get through the whole thing? And obviously I'm not going to say no to that, because I figured that was my chance to be on a team. So I'm like, yeah, I'll do it, I guess. And went well, so here we are.
Well, That's unbelievable. Like how many, like literally a couple days before, like the day before, you're finding out you're going to do it?
Yep, pretty much.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
What's that mentally? Like how does that, flip that switch? Okay, I got to get ready to do 10 events over the next 2 days?
Well, I was kind of prepared for it, but not really. It was kind of just like being a multi, I'm kind of prepared for anything. I try to be prepared for anything at all times. So as soon as I got that, I was like, yeah, this will be good. I'm excited for it. It's a lot of fun, and it was a chance to compete with Zach and Trey and all the other guys around the Summer League that I've gotten to know over the last few years. So it was an exciting opportunity regardless.
So I remember I was up there for the first event of the Decathlon, which is, I believe, 100, right? Is that the easy one to get that out of the way first?
That might be the hardest one.
No kidding.
You get in the blocks, and that's when all the nerves are there, and as soon as you're done with that, that's when it gets a little bit easier. You start to relax a little bit more, get into the flow of things. But right before is probably the most nerve-wracking that you are during the meet.
Because it's the first one?
Yeah. Once you get that out of the way, it's all easy from there.
So I was visiting with Zach about this. I'll ask you, we're watching you throw the jav, which it was like 30-mile-per-hour winds. What is that like? And to have a huge one like you did with how windy it was a couple weeks ago?
Yeah, honestly, it kind of felt like the wind was helping. If you get a little bit of a headwind, it kind of gives the jav a little bit of a lift in the air. So if you get it to fly right and put it straight, essentially, it should help it a little bit. I don't overanalyze the javelin as much. I don't really know what's going on all the time. So I just kind of went out there and threw it, and it ended up going a little bit further than I thought it would. So it helped out.
That's a good thing then, right? Hey, if it went further, let's go, right?
Yep.
I have to ask that last event, the 1500, when you're coming, the last turn, what's that emotion like? Like this is almost over.
Yeah, pretty much. Yep. You're you get done with the first 3 laps, and it's kind of just get me out of this race. That's about all I think.
To have the kind of score you did you know that entering the final event, or was that something you found out afterwards?
I kind of knew that if I went under 5 minutes, it should be right around that 7,600 mark. That was my goal was 4:45 is what I was kind of pacing for. It obviously didn't happen. If I would have stuck with Zach a little bit longer, it might have, but he kind of got away from me a little bit. So we'll hope to get that down. We'll hope to get that down in a couple weeks here.
But you had enough points that you thought maybe, hey, I might automatically qualify for Eugene, or did you have to sweat it out after the championships were done?
A little bit. I figured I would be right on the bubble, and obviously I ended up in 24th, so I was right on the bubble. But it was a lot of looking through other conferences, trying to find the Big 10 results, the Big 12 results, see if anybody got in before me. It's a little bit of nerves going into that, but not too bad.
Well, yeah. What is that emotion like when you see it? Like, I'm in the field.
That was a pretty good feeling. It was I guess satisfying moment, I would say. It was a little bit different. I actually had surgery scheduled for last Friday on my ankle that I was planning on doing right after conference meet, and then when I got in, it was a big relief to get in. Obviously, there was a lot of excitement, but it was also like, all right, now we got to push this back. We got to push back the rehab and all that for the summer, but overall, it's positive to get in.
I was going to say that's the best reason to postpone a surgery I can think of is you've got to get a chance to continue to go out to Eugene. I say that. Right. I was talking with Zach about this, and now that you're in this sport, that is the Super Bowl of where track is. You're going to be there. What's that mean to you when I say that?
Yeah, that's super exciting. That track it's unbelievable out there. It's a really cool venue, and there's going to be a lot of really good athletes. It's going to be super fun to watch the competitions after I'm done too, and just to be able to compete with all those guys. And yeah, it's going to be quite the experience.
Do you figure, and I asked Zach this, I'll ask you as well, do you need to go even better, like your best performance ever, if you want to be All-American, get on the podium here?
If I want to get top 8 for first team, probably, yeah. It's going to take a pretty good performance. There's a lot of really good athletes, and I don't know, I'm sure you looked at, or you knew about the scores indoor, and everybody just had really good performances indoor, and I don't expect anything less from the outdoor meet. So
the fact you're going to be there, like I mentioned, 4 years ago, you were picking up track on a lark. Have you thought about that? Like my life has completely changed in a 4-year time frame athletically?
I have thought about that. It's pretty crazy. So, sometimes there's guys on the team that I used to play against in basketball. They'll talk about that, and it's just complete 180 from what I was planning on doing. So it's, yeah.
Well, it's because, you were part of that first state championship basketball team at Kindred. You were a fantastic basketball player, and which I want to ask you in a second, but I think everybody just associated you with basketball. Do you still have that even now if you haven't played in a bit?
A little bit. I haven't played much at all in the last 4 years. Yeah. A few times in the summer, but that's about it. And I am excited for when I'm done and able to go back. I know my buddy Max always talks about going and playing men's league tournaments when I'm done with track. Me and Jaden, and he's so excited to play with us, and I'm excited to go back and be able to do that stuff too. But just not yet, not quite yet.
Well, I was talking with Zach. Do you guys hoop it up in the shack? Like, can you still throw it down like you did in high school?
Oh yeah.
Does that help for like the
more athletic?
I was going to say, does that help for the high jump when we're doing that?
I would say so. Yeah. Yep.
Give me your favorite event and least favorite event for the decathlon.
Ooh, favorite event. The most fun one is probably pole vault. Just because there's a lot going on there. It's fun to get up in the air and get over the bar sometimes. Least favorite event is probably discus right now.
Oh.
I've been having a lot of struggles with that, but we're working through it. It'll get better. Just the fact you have to be. Is it easy to say, or you correct me? Do you have to be just good at everything? I don't have to be great at 3 events. I just need to be pretty solid in 10. Is that the best way to describe of being good in the decathlon? I would say so. Yeah, there's a lot of different molds for being a good decathlete. I mean, some people are really fast on the track. Some people are like Zach is really good at the jumps, and he's good at everything, obviously. But his pole vault, high jump, and long jump really carry his points a lot of times, especially at the indoor meets. But yeah, there's kind of a lot of different ways to get a lot of points. Is there a event, Paul, that when you started doing, like, I have no idea what I'm doing, like this, I am completely lost? I still feel like that sometimes, but pole vault probably. I started it, and you're going in circles in the air, you're getting thrown back onto the track. It's kind of all over the place when you're first starting, but it's a fun process. See, javelin to me would be the one for me. Like, you're giving me a large pointy stick, like that is not a good scenario, and it's windy up here, like that. Yep. I'm gonna hurt somebody or myself doing that. That just sounds like a bad deal. I got to ask before we get going here. Just have you thought what's going to go through your mind when your name is introduced out there in Eugene in a couple weeks? Not a whole lot. No, I'm just taking it day by day right now. Just kind of, we'll get there when we get there, kind of thing. How? What do you know about it? Have you been researching now that you know that you're going, or is this something, hey, I'm going to take on the fly when we get out there? Kind of just taking it on the fly. Yeah, I was out there after my freshman year. I went out there for the U20 decathlon. I ended up pulling my hamstring in the 100 meter, so I didn't get very far into it. So we just got to improve on that. Yeah. I think. So for viewers who don't know, tell us what you're doing in Arkansas this week and the opportunity to see way more of your teammates potentially join you in Eugene in a few weeks. Yeah, so this week Arkansas is the first round meet. They take the top 48 open events for the West region, and then there's one in the East too down in Kentucky, I believe. So from there it'll be you have to get top 12 in your event to go on to the national meet. So we're hoping to get a few more guys. I think we got 11 or 12 guys competing down here. So if we could sneak in a couple more to that national meet, that would be a lot of fun for us, and on the girls' side as well. But I know we got a few girls that have a good chance to qualify as well. Just a couple minutes left here with Paul. Can you give your guy Caden Pastian a hard time? What is that mustache that he's doing right now? What is that thing? Oh, that was awesome. I love the mustache. I think he needs to keep that. That's kind of our conference thing usually, is to try to get a team mustache going, but a lot of us can't grow very good mustaches, so it ends up being one or two people sticking out because they can grow a really good mustache. Did you try and fail, or what was the deal? Well, I think I shaved mine one night, and then it never really grew back. That was it? Yeah, it was over. Last thing, he's a Hillsboro kid. You're a Kindred guy. Yep. Zach's from Stephen, Minnesota. You've got
local people going and doing this? Why is this area so fertile for people to be really good in track?
I think it's really just about the culture that we have built at NDSU. Like I was talking about earlier, nobody wants to be the team that loses. Nobody wants to be the guys that don't show up at conference meet. And I think that's really what it's about. We've set that culture. We know what the expectation is when you come to NDSU, and I think that is carried on through everybody that is here right now, and I think it'll continue to carry on in the next few years as well.
Last thing for you, bud. I appreciate you doing this. The day after the decathlon, do you not move off the couch? I'm pretty sure I'd be exhausted after one event, but after 10, what do you do the day after?
Well, the adrenaline of the conference meet kind of carries you through a little bit, but the night after the decathlon, I did not sleep good. My legs were aching. I think I got 2 hours and 45 minutes of sleep or something like that. You're pretty sore after you get done, but it's a satisfying feeling.
Especially when you finish second. There's no doubt about that.
Right.
Great to see you, bud. Congratulations. We look forward to seeing you compete in Oregon in a couple weeks. Thanks so much for the time this morning, okay?
Absolutely. I appreciate you having me on.
There he goes.
Thanks, Tom.
Kindred's Paul Olson joining us from Fayetteville, Arkansas on the NCAA Track West Regional. He and Zach McGlynn will be heading to the NCAA Track Championships in the decathlon. Here's a nerd stat for us to take us to break. NDSU joins Illinois, Kansas State, and Duke as the only schools to have multiple entrants at the NCAA Track Championships in the decathlon. NDSU's got two guys going, one from Stephen, Minnesota, the other from Kindred, North Dakota. That's pretty good stuff. And we'll be following that when the track championships get going in a couple weeks out in Oregon in the middle of June. It's one of my favorite events on the calendar to watch. It's made even more cooler, more prescient for us to cover when we've got local athletes doing it. And we're going to have a couple doing that in the decathlon of all events in a couple weeks' time. Our thanks to Paul for giving us a few minutes. Let's break. We come back. We'll give you the TV need to know, not for Bison football. That's tomorrow. For all of our state tournament cover, starting with the State A baseball, which returns to historic Corbett Field in Minot this year. Hot Mike is back after this.
This is Hot Mike with Dom Izzo, presented by Northwestern Mutual.
Welcome back, everybody. Our thanks to Paul Olson for giving us a few minutes. That was good stuff. We'll be keeping an eye on that coming up in just a few weeks' time. Now, I mentioned off the top of the program, busy week for us. We got a bunch of people traveling to different locales, Minot and Jamestown, Mandan, over the next few days to get us ready for the craziest week in North Dakota high school sports. It doesn't have to be. Save that for another day. But we've got tennis going on. We've got soccer happening, and we've got two classes of baseball and softball happening. They paired this up a few years ago after softball started a second class, which made sense for parents to not have to deploy to different cities. Like it used to have with Class B baseball would be maybe in Fargo, and softball could be in Jamestown or something like that. Now that they're together, which makes sense because there are several schools that are sending multiple teams to state tournaments. I do worry on hotel rooms for Jamestown, much like I did in the wintertime. Be that as it may, it's different to travel, especially for us for tournament season. The Class A baseball tournament returns to Minot. I know Sam visited yesterday with Fargo South, who's back at state after a couple-year absence for them. The bracket looks like this in Class A. West Fargo, by the way, he had Brett Peterson on last week. Shout out to the Packers. They go and win the thing. So West Fargo earns the 1 seed out of the East. They'll get Bismarck. It's weird to have a Class A baseball bracket and not have Century in it. That's just odd to me. I saw they didn't make it. I'm like, man, that's just plain weird. Bismarck, Mandan, Minot North, and Minot are the 4 representatives out of the East, joined by Cheyenne, Horace, South, and West Fargo. Those games begin at 11:30 on Thursday. You've got the Horace top-end talent. Of course, you remember last year the Hawks lost in the opening round. Cheyenne won the thing on a, shall we say, controversial play that happened. You remember the collision at home plate in the championship game. That's a rematch now in the first round between Cheyenne and Minot playing right out of the chute to start things. Our guy, Sammy G, will be heading to Minot. You'll be able to see the entire tournament streaming on WDAY Plus. Television-wise, though, if you want to watch it on TV, you can. On Thursday and Friday, those games will be available on WDAY2. That's the True Crime Network. If you see it on your listings, starting at 11:30 on Thursday with the quarterfinals. Then Friday, the semifinals begin at 4:30 from Minot. Those 2 days, it's on WDAY2. Saturday for the championship, it moves here to Extra beginning at 2 p.m. If you have your WDAY Plus subscription already from State Track, then you're all set. You'll be able to watch everything there. If you do not have it yet, feel free to sign up now to avoid any consternation when you get to Thursday and you're trying to call me in the station and I'm not here because I'm in Jamestown. Point being, just take care of it now and you're able to watch everything. Fantastic that we're able to do this, and it's pretty slick. I had actually, let me read one. This is a text message I got from this past weekend. I'm not going to say who sent it to me, but just I want to read it on air. You guys did a really great job of state track coverage. First year in 6 years, we didn't have to be there to follow our daughter. Just wanted to pass it along. All the live feeds, seeing different events was fun to watch. So there you go. There's an endorsement there. So if you're getting on board for baseball or soccer or softball or tennis this weekend, that's the way to go about it. So that's how to watch Class A baseball, which gets underway on Thursday morning from Minot. We'll take a break. We come back. The Class B gets underway Thursday morning in Jamestown. Thompson is going for a 5-peat. Head coach Nate Soulis joins us as the Tommies go for one for the thumb when Hot Mike returns. Welcome back, everybody. Final half hour here on a busy Tuesday morning spectacular. This is a look at our TV schedule for the Class B out of Jamestown, which begins Thursday morning right here on WDAY Extra. You'll be able to see all of the championship round games. The quarterfinals on Thursday start at 11:30. Back with you about 4:30 for the afternoon session. Semifinals on Friday at 4:30, and then championship in prime time on Saturday night at 7 o'clock from historic Jack Brown Stadium. This is the field of 8. Kindred is back for the first time in nearly a decade. Lemoore has a great baseball tradition. They're in it. Velva's had a dynamite year. Delax Burlington is good in pretty much every sport. Bottineau has had a banner year. Remember, the Braves played in the Dakota Bowl, lost in the championship. Shiloh's back, Park River, and lo and behold, Thompson is there. They thought the Tommies might be dead. Instead, they have a chance for a 5-peat after they won the Region 2 championship out of the losers bracket, beating Hillsborough Central Valley twice last week to make it to state. And Tommy's head coach, Nate Soulis, joins us here to wrap up our show here on a Tuesday. You mentioned to me off air, this is the second year in a row you've done it out of the losers bracket. Are you making this a habit of making things hard on yourself?
I hope not. But we were talking, any way that you got to get there, once you get there, you feel pretty good about it. So we'll take it this way and see what happens this weekend.
Well, how much is that muscle memory that you banked on with your guys last week after you lost? Like, okay, you guys know exactly what you have to do.
Right. And we were playing Larimore in a single elimination on that Saturday before, just the way our tournament's set up. That first round is single elimination. We went to extra innings with Larimore, who has a pretty good pitcher on the mound. So we were on the ropes there. And then obviously you get back into that double elimination portion, and we played a good game against Mayville, and we really liked our matchup going with Hillsborough and Jeremy on the mound, and just didn't go our way. That Chase Halfley is a really, really great pitcher, and did what they needed to do to get us into the losers bracket. And then after that, it was, you're right, a little bit of muscle memory. It helps that we don't have a lot of guys that were returning. We lost 5 starters from last year's team. So you lose that experience, but you do still have 4 kids, and then some kids that were obviously on the bench that just got to watch. And I think that's a really valuable experience, probably more than people want to give it credit for, just to be able to sit there and watch how guys can do things, that are experienced, and then you take the reins after the next year. So it was good that we were in that situation the previous year, and we just really made some good adjustments into that second game with Mayville. We had to play 3 in a day. And I think with how we were playing, we would have played a fourth too, but we gave it an extra day. And just really proud of the guys for sticking with it.
Nate, does it make it even sweeter to do it that way, though, when you end up getting the final out and beating Hillsborough?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, there were a lot of doubters that you lose a lot of talent from last year. There's no debate in that. But we really liked our group. We thought that we, towards the tail end of the year, had everybody in the right spot, and it was just about going and producing. And we felt that we could do it. There was a lot. It was day and night, a lot of roller coaster rides throughout the year. This group just needed to learn how to win. And they failed a few times, and that's life, but they came back at it the next day, and that's all you can ask for out of a group of boys. And they did that, and we just really, towards that tail end of the tournament, really were playing our best baseball.
I guess on the outside, people would think, all right, well, Thompson lost all those guys. It's finally going to be somebody else's turn to win it. Did you embrace that, hearing that?
I think so. Just that underdog mentality. But we also talked about at the start of the year, we had a meeting right away. We really wanted to hammer it home that we're not changing our thought process. We're not changing our standards. We're going to go out and compete for a region championship. And then obviously you get to the state tournament and you want to compete for a state championship. We knew that, again, it's a young, inexperienced group. Even our older guys don't have a ton of playing time experience in previous years. But we knew we had the talent. We just had to let it marinate a little bit. I needed to learn a little bit of patience throughout the year. And there were a lot, I'll give our guys credit. They stuck with it. There were a lot of hard conversations that we had to have throughout the year that aren't easy to hear sometimes, but some people needed to hear it. Like I said, I'll give them all the credit in the world. They stuck with it. They responded. They changed what they needed to change, and it made us a better team. And here we are.
Here you are, is another trip to state and a matchup with Bottineau coming up on Thursday afternoon, probably about 1:30, 1:45 on Thursday afternoon. What do you know about this Bottineau team that's got some multi-athletes that were pretty good in football this past fall?
Right. We played them, Spring Sports in North Dakota for you. They called us, texted us on a Friday, and then we hosted them on Saturday morning. So we actually played them and beat them on a walk-off. It was a tight game. Probably not either team's best performance defensively. But it's nice to see. We've played 3 teams in the field this year. And so it's nice to have a little bit of an idea as to what you were going to see. So yeah, we're very familiar, really good athletes, are going to put the ball in play as kind of what we've found out. But excited for the challenge on Thursday.
There's nothing I can ask you about state that's new. Like, you've had people experience it. So what is it about that experience, but now you have new guys in those roles, if you understand what I'm asking? How do you get ready for that?
Well, I think, the 4 kids that are starting, that started last year, you just try to lean on that experience. You share. We had alumni back. They're close with the program, whether it's through talking with me, through our other coaches, talking with the kids. Like, they're good buddies. I think all of that is valuable. And you're right. There are kids that don't have the experience, but even when we found out, like, region tournament time, you play a tight game with Larimore with your season on the line, and it goes your way. The confidence just snowballs. And we kept seeing it. And yeah, we lost a game to Hillsborough, had a good pitcher. But we didn't let it phase us. And like I said, they just stuck with it. And each day, it just seems like we're getting better and better because they're using that confidence. So we're going to take that confidence and run with it into the weekend here.
So now, here you go. You've got a chance at 5 in a row. I have to ask the question I'm sure you've been asked all the time. Just how do you deal with that? Because I'm sure the talk for winning 5 started right after you won number 4 at Newman last year, right?
Yeah, it's tough for kids to handle an expectation that way, but I don't know if I would want it another way. I mean, you got a target on your back. We talked about embracing the underdog role this year. Obviously, everybody's going to give you your best shot. So I think that and just the kids that they have pride in playing for Thompson. I think that's really important, and something that we've stressed is it's a privilege to be able to play, and just who you grew up watching. I think one of the coolest things that we have is when the region tournament, there's kids that running on the field after the game, running the bases, wearing their Cal Ripken jerseys, and just that tradition. You just can't create that. That's been over time a really cool thing, and so that's where I think that they get it, is just, it's that 10 years ago when they were watching in the same spot, and just the pride that they have for putting the jersey on, I think is really cool.
You get nervous now? You've been doing this for a bit. Do you have nerves for Thursday, or is that's not there?
You have to. You get excited. Like I told the guys, like if you're not a little bit nervous, do you care? And so they, there's that. But you try to. We talked about to our group this last week. We really hammered home our preparation, whether it's mentally or just physically getting ready for a baseball game and getting ready to go out and perform. If you feel like your preparation has gotten you ready for this moment, there's no need to, you're going to be nervous a little bit, right? But you're going to give your best, yourself and your team your best chance to win. If you put the time in before, we got 3 practices before Thursday, obviously, starting with last night, and that's what our focus is, day by day, the process of trying to get better and prepare for Botno how the best way we can. But yeah, I wouldn't lie if there's not a little bit of jitters, but that's why you do it. It's exciting times.
Nate, everyone that follows Thompson baseball in your community, around even the surrounding communities, I think most on the eastern side of the state know the story of what happened with Dex Abdom last summer. Can you describe what the last almost calendar year has been like to see what's happened and now him contributing on your baseball team?
Yeah, he did last year. Played a really big role for us, catching a lot of innings. And it was just, he was getting his feet wet, and you could just tell he was getting better and better. And, obviously it goes down last summer, and he gets right back up, and he wants to play right away. Like, that's just the kid he is. Yeah. That's the character. You can't teach any of that. And you go to the hospital right after, and he's laughing and joking around. That makes you feel a little bit more comfortable. But then he's right back at it. I know he went to USA Baseball, North Carolina, like a week or 2 later.
Yeah.
So he just can't get enough of it. You can't take him off the field. You can't do it. He's going to put the time in, whether you want him to take a break or not. He caught 28 innings of baseball in about just over a 24-hour span this weekend. And, no complaints, not one. You could see it. You could see he was hurting, and it just seemed like that day, that Friday, I think he took just more foul tips, foul balls. Even when he was hitting, I think he fouled the ball off. Like, it's just one of those where it's just going to add up.
Yep.
But you don't hear anything from him, and he just gets in the box, and he just goes and plays. But I think that experience just really gave him a good perspective on what matters. He works his tail off. Obviously, he's one of our best players, but he's deserved every opportunity that he's gotten, as a freshman right now, because of the time that he's invested in the sport.
After the foul tip happens, right, and just did you think, and he's going to be okay, but in your back of your mind, you ever think he's not going to play again? Like, I wouldn't blame him if he said, no, I'm done.
I remember having that conversation with some of our coaches.
Yeah.
Do you feel comfortable going back there?
Right.
You get a little bit. I was talking with an umpire that was actually there during that game during our region tournament this weekend, and he asked me, "Do you like just take a deep breath?
Yeah.
What do you whenever he gets a foul tip? What's your reaction?" And your mind goes right there.
Yeah.
Just because of how scary that moment was. But it's he's a kid that, like I said, you will not tell him that he's not going to catch. Yeah. He's going to go catch because that's what he loves to do. And he would have it no other way.
It's a remarkable story, and look forward to seeing him in person coming up this week. I'm going to get you in trouble for last question here. Favorite place to have the state tournament? You've won it everywhere. What's your favorite place to have it? And if it's Jamestown, why?
It's Jamestown. Yeah. Just their tradition of everything. Everything, it just seems like it's always there. I know we've rotated it with Fargo. Every spot has its its benefits, its perks, its uniqueness. We really liked Corbett. Yeah. And I think that you just don't get out to Minot in the spring, and kids weren't really familiar with Corbett. But our kids are familiar with Jack Brown. There's a lot of reasons that go into it. Obviously, you got Johnny Muse's walk-off hit a couple years ago that, you go back and you watch those videos and just what a cool moment. But, like I said, they're all great. But Jamestown, for me, just the setting that it has, the fans are right on top of you. And it just provides a really good environment that we're really excited to play in this weekend.
Must be nice to have memories of 4 separate state championships in different places, but that's the advantage that Thompson has had. Thanks for doing this, bud. It's great to catch up with you. I look forward to seeing you a couple days in Jamestown. Thanks for the time this morning.
Absolutely, Dom. We'll see you on Thursday.
Nate Soulis joining us, head coach of the Thompson baseball team. They are the 3 seed at this year's Class B baseball tournament. They'll play Bottineau. That's the middle game on Thursday afternoon. We'll see what happens this year. 4 in a row is one thing. Trying to win 5. There were talking with different people around North Dakota Class B baseball, just getting ready for this. I think on the outside, someone's going to different. Thompson's done. They're not going to win Region 2. And then, lo and behold, as I'm following it last week, there they are. They won it again out of the losers bracket and back at state. Part of the 8 teams that'll make up that tournament field, which gets underway Thursday. First pitch just after 11:30 on Thursday. You'll see it here on WDAY Extra. We'll lead you right up to about first pitch on Hot Mic, live from Jack Brown on Thursday morning. We'll take our final break. We come back. We'll put a bow on things. Got a few emails to get to on the Bison TV questions. We'll try and answer as best we can and get you ready for a pretty good Sports Tuesday. Hot Mic wraps right after this. All right, wrapping things up here on a busy Tuesday. Good stuff there. Tomorrow, back with you. We will potentially find out, I'm hopeful on the air, the start of the college football TV release schedule. Might involve North Dakota State. Week 0 opener with Jacksonville State, part of our 2-hour spectacular tomorrow. We got some other fun guests lined up as well, so looking forward to that. I know Thursday Matt Weidler from Velva is going to join us. A few other guests as well we got lined up for our show live on location on Thursday. Let's get a few emails in here before we say goodbye. Dom, softball between the Florida-Texas Tech drama and Mississippi State taking down Oklahoma. College softball was a fun watch this past weekend. Adds in, and I only caught this on social media, the riff with Texas Tech and Florida. Adds the Florida scene shows the bad side of the portal. It got nasty. Texas Tech, I believe, beat Florida, and then Florida refused to shake hands with the Texas Tech players because a handful of them had transferred to Florida. It was great drama. The game was wild, but it got nasty at the end of that. Dom, if WDAY is able to broadcast a game such as the FCS game with Fordham, will that be available on ESPN+? Thank you. It will not be. Those games, if we are fortunate enough to get a game, if you live in our local television coverage area, which is pretty wide, obviously, from western North Dakota to western Minnesota, you'll be able to see it there on television. If not, you'll have to stream it through the Mountain West app. We can't stream it either. It won't be available on Inforum or WDAY+. You'll have to watch on Mountain West Plus, I believe it's called. That'll have the games there. So if you're looking at ESPN Plus is almost irrelevant for Bison football. I would say with the exception of the Sacramento State game. It's because Sac State, their television rights are controlled by the MAC, and the MAC has an exclusive deal with ESPN. So if you're looking for that game, you'll need ESPN Plus for that one. Dom, if I live in Minneapolis and the Bison game is not selected by CBS or Fox or the CW, how will I be able to watch a game? Another good question. That's on the Mountain West app. That's how you'll be able to watch it, Mountain West Plus. And once we start getting that trickling out, we'll pass along the info. We'll do this 1,000 times over between now and August 29th, I would bet. Appreciate the emails coming in today. Let's do some what to watch before we get out of here. It's convoluted, I know. All right, what to watch brought to us by our friends at Northwestern Mutual. Here we go. Spurs and Thunder, Game 5. Critical Game 5, tied at 2 games apiece. That's on NBC tonight at 7:30. The Avalanche try to avoid being swept by Vegas, 8 o'clock on ESPN. We got the Twins and the White Sox at 6:30 on Twins TV with Joe Ryan throwing tonight for Minnesota. See if they can get back on their winning ways after losing yesterday to Chicago. Our thanks to our guests, to Mike McFeely, to Paul Olson, and Nate Soulis. If you missed any of the show, you can podcast it later today at Inforum.com. You can watch a full replay on WDAY+. Thanks so much for joining us, everybody. Stay cool out there. Have a terrific Tuesday.